Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Let me introduce myself. I'm Omkar Shinde, your host for this particular interview. I want to welcome you all to the 17th episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. Talking about interview series, it is a series where we invite people who have interned at companies and converted that internship opportunity into a pre-placement offer. Our guest for today's interview is Chaitya Chheda. He interned with Morgan Stanley for 3 months and also got a pre-placement offer from them. So the interview consists of two parts. The part one involves Chaitya's educational journey, his in-college experiences, internships, and the part two covers his Morgan Stanley story on how did he get this internship opportunity, interview experience, internship experience, work culture, and stuff like that. So make sure you watch both the parts, and I hope that this video would help you in your specific career as well. So without wasting further time, let's proceed towards the interview. Hello, Chaitya, and welcome to the 17th episode of interview series brought to you by Industry Inspire Talk. How are you feeling right now?
Hey, yeah, it is a pleasure to be here with you, and thank you for inviting me, first of all. It's a great initiative by you guys to bring up people like me and other grads to come here and talk about their experience so that other fellows can, uh, uh, other people can actually benefit from them. So, thank you, Omkar.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm also pretty much excited, Chaitya, to talk to you about your experiences and also discussing your Morgan Stanley experience. Okay, so we are going to have an amazing conversation today on this platform, and a lot of students are going to be benefited by this. So let's get started with like the interview series. Okay, my first question for you is, first of all, tell me something about yourself, what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Chaitya Chheda. I am a BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from VNIT Nagpur, and I was graduated in 2020. That is the last year. Now, I had done a summer internship with Morgan Stanley and bagged a PPO. So currently, I'm working at Morgan Stanley as a technology associate. Apart from that, in my college days, I was a part of the student council as a sports secretary and a student mentor also in my third year. My hobbies, as since I'm a sports secretary, so you might have guessed that my hobbies are playing basketball and handball. So that's all about myself.
That's pretty much great. And thanks for giving a quick introduction. I hope that the audience know about what you do. So the next question I want to ask you is about your college life. So you mentioned you graduated from VNIT Nagpur. So I want to know about your college life. How was your college life?
So, yeah, the 4 years of college are obviously the best time of anyone's life. So, it was the first time I was away from home in Nagpur. The hostel life was really great. I had made great friends there. Uh, so, what makes any college life different is the people you are surrounded by. So, that is the major part that actually influenced my college life. Those are my friends. So you see, whatever I've done in college, whatever I've achieved, major credit goes to them as well, including my faculty at VNIT and my parents. A major part I would give to the people I was surrounded by in my college life as well.
Wonderful, and thanks for sharing that. So the next question I want to ask you is, you graduated from computer science and engineering. So I want to ask you, describe your passion towards computer science and why do you love it so much?
So when I chose science after around 10th, I wasn't really sure if I was going to do computer science or some other engineering in some other branch. But then looking at, I did a bit of research of what every branch includes. So to be honest, I'm a really lazy person, and what I found great about computer science is that you really don't need to work hard on field. That means you don't have a lot of physical work. You have all the logic and mental work. So I found computer science to be quite great for a person like me who doesn't really like to do so much of that kind of a work. And even the benefit of computer science is that it motivates you to automate stuff so that people have to put in lesser effort. So that's again one thing that motivated me to take up computer science, and that's why I chose computer science after my 12th.
That's
That's
great
my
to know.
motivation.
Yeah, that's great to know, Chaitya. And that love for computer science, I hope that you must have built some tech projects in your college. So my next question is related to that. So I want to ask you, did you build any technical projects in your engineering career? And if yes, then describe those projects.
Yeah, so I didn't start coding pretty much before college. So I started coding after joining VNIT, that is in the first year, wherein I was taught by my seniors and my friends because the first year is quite common for all branches throughout. So after that, I started learning a few things and started exploring different fields in computer science. So some notable projects that I did were in the second half of my second year and the third year. That is, we started building an Android app for a technical fest in my college. And apart from that, we, along with my friends, that is our team of six, took part in the Smart India Hackathon in 2019 and 2020. So those were also a part of the notable technical project. So just sharing a bit of an overview of what those projects were is like in the 2019 edition of Smart India Hackathon, we had built a number plate recognition software wherein using a camera at the gate, the camera would capture the number plate and it would actually recognize what is that number on the plate, and it would recognize whom did the car belong to. So it included a bit of ML and some sort of data analysis. The next year we went into Smart India Hackathon again, and we built a paperless office, that is a workflow management kind of a system wherein you do all the official work online. So that also included a separate set of tech stack, that is React.js, and the backend was Java, and so like that. So my whole focus on these projects were to touch upon separate aspects of the technology and not just focus on one particular technology, so that you get a feel of all the different tech that is available to you at this point. So these are some of the overview of my project.
That's wonderful. Okay, and it's important to do such projects. It's what I feel, and it's good that you were part of such extracurricular activities. That is where you will get most of the industry learning apart from the college curriculum. And I completely agree with you. And both the projects which you presented in the Smart India Hackathon, both of them are very innovative. It's helping the society. There is some innovation or the other which is involved, and it's solving a problem. So it's thanks for sharing that, Shaitya. So let's go over to the next question. Okay, so you said you don't like to do a lot of hard work. You like to do a lot of smart work, wherein technology plays in the role. So my next question is, what's your mentality towards coding?
I mean, coding is something that everyone should be learning, I feel, at an early stage. Not that you start learning C or Java at a very young age, but it is to develop that logic and that mental ability to solve problems. Because coding is just an instrument to solve difficult, complex problems that we do generally. Yeah, so that's what coding is, and it plays an important role in every field and every particular industry. So all that is required is to identify those problems and how you can break it down into simple solutions, and how you could tackle those small bits of problems using whatever knowledge you have, or probably do some research work on that, and how you could solve those problems using your coding abilities, or probably take help from others. Because coding is a very wide range of topics, and it has a lot of abilities. So it's definitely going to help you some way or the other if you're stuck in any kind of a complex problem in any sort of industry, I feel. So it's very important to keep yourself updated also in that sense, so that you are never you never run out of any solutions when it is required. So that's what I feel
Okay,
about it.
wonderful. So thank you for sharing your thoughts, Chaitya, on this. And I think that a lot of students who are kind of starting with their engineering careers and who have opted for a CS on an IT or an EHPC branch, this advice would definitely help them and like give them a mentality towards coding. So the next question is, you told me you love coding. You mentioned your tech stack and everything. So my question is, what is your most favorable programming language?
Favorable languages. So I would say my favorite not favorite in that sense, but I would prefer C or C++ anytime, because obviously that was the first language I ever learned. So I'm very much comfortable with that since I'm using that language for say now 4 years. So and C is even the most low level language and an old language, so it gives you a lot of control, yeah, with a lot of control over your system than the most modern languages do. But that doesn't mean that the modern languages like Python or Java are any less. They are actually very user friendly than C. And whenever I have any specific task that requires a very specific mindset or a specific goal that can be solved easier in Python or Java, then obviously that is supposed to be used because that reduces a lot of development time. But anytime C or C++ is the one that I'll always turn to when given a choice.
Got it,
Yeah.
got it. We all started from somewhere, right? And these languages were the basics from where we actually got an insight into coding or programming. Okay, so yeah, definitely. Thanks for sharing that. So the next question I want to ask you is, what are your technological strengths and weaknesses?
So I would say my technological weakness is UI and UX. So I'm not really a front end type of a guy. I don't like CSS and designing so much because I've never understood that pretty much clearly. So that's my point of view. Obviously, UI and UX is very important in any application because that is how your application is going to interact with the user. So, but I'm not not fond of that. But my technological strength, on the other hand, that is something that is very important that everyone should have is to adapt to any sort of a language. So even if today I'm given a UI or UX based task, I am pretty much sure that I would find out some way in which I can achieve that task. Though I am more fond of back end sort of stuff, so I would say that if anyone aspiring in engineering, anyone doing engineering in computer science or probably learning coding, the first thing that you need to learn is to adapt to any of these languages, because even if you get into industry, you are not going to get a work, not going to be assigned some work that you are best at. You are going to be assigned a work that is available for you, and which is not necessarily is going to be your favorite language or a favorite tech stack. So the first thing that is really important is to adapt to those changes, to learn quickly, and so that you can deliver at a proper pace. That's really
Wonderful,
important.
wonderful. So you summarized the whole thing in such a good way. Okay, and I hope that you have answered this question very well. Okay, and thanks for sharing your opinion, your thoughts on this question. It would definitely help a lot of other students. So the next question is, it's not related to coding, but it's kind of a like life-oriented question which I wanted to ask. So it is like, how do you handle failure, and tell us about your mindset strategy.
See, failure is you can't avoid failures. So whenever you fail, people say you should learn from your failures. You should, make mistakes. Making mistakes are obviously good. So what happens when you fail is initially, obviously, everyone will feel dejected. They'll feel like you've lost everything. You can't work here or something. But the thing is, you should keep on fighting for it. Probably you should obviously learn from your mistakes, but that's not really easy as it is easy to say, because obviously once you are very demotivated, you are obviously not going to get back and stick to that fight. So what happens in this case is the people around you that will help. As I mentioned earlier, I had a good set of friends. So whenever I used to feel dejected or demotivated, there were people in my group with whom I used to again start something with which I have failed, and they used to quite help me in that way. And see, if I'm stuck in a way, suppose if you say in coding, so if I have a coding problem or an issue in coding, then I used to move to my friend and say this is the problem, this is where I've failed, or my project isn't working. So they used to help me accordingly. And if it was something related to management, say I wasn't able to manage my time well or something, some sort of failure there, or probably got rejected in an interview. So these are the people who will keep you lively and they won't let you get demotivated. So it is really important to have a good network and good amount of people around you, so they never let you fall down.
Wonderful share, Chaitya. And I personally think friends play an important role whenever you are away from home. Okay, so living in a hostel. So, from what I know, you are not from like Nagpur. Okay, you were there for kind of a degree. Okay, so you are away from home. But wonderful share again. Like the network or the friends who are there by your side help you, assist you in a way, also motivate you in some times. Okay, and that's very important to have a good network. Thanks for stressing on that point. It would help a lot of other students. And thanks for that wonderful share. Okay, so the next question I want to ask you is, which key skills to focus on in order to become an all-rounder student in your college?
So talking about skills, all-rounder is quite a fancy word to use here, but the most important skill, if you want to actually do a lot of stuff in your life, is time management. That is like the key stuff. Second thing is that you should be able to identify your priorities well. So obviously, if you're moved out of your home, you're in a new city, and you are aspiring, say, engineering, then obviously your first priority is your education, your grades. So that is the utmost priority, followed by your co-curricular activities and your extracurricular activities. So you need to identify what are your priorities quite well and organize yourself accordingly. And the third most important thing is like you need to contribute enough to co-curricular and extracurricular activities as well. And it's not about how much stuff you're doing, it's about how much quality work you're contributing to whatever you're doing. So it's not supposed to be that you become part of like say 10 clubs and do nothing, but you become a part of say 2 or 3 clubs, but you devote your 100% time to it, put in your efforts how much ever you can, and you contribute that much to that club or whatever responsibility you are given. So these three things are quite important, not only to become an all-rounder, but even in any student's life. I feel like time management, identifying your priorities, and obviously giving your 100%. So that's pretty much important in any task you have.
That's great, and thanks for sharing that. Okay, so you talked about extracurricular activities. So now here we like complete with our personal interview, like knowing more about you. So now we'll go over to dive into the extracurricular activities experience which you have. You said you've been associated with, like you did an internship with Morgan Stanley. Also, you were part of certain clubs in your college itself. Okay, and you were part of Smart India Hackathon. So we'll talk about these experiences. So my first question is, describe your experience as a summer research intern for IIT Bombay.
See, I had never thought of actually getting into IIT Bombay for the summer research intern at a really early stage, because it was just my second year, and in second year I didn't know much of coding and all. So the only criteria these people have that was that you have a great CGPA and these guys might select you. So I got selected. I was lucky enough. My CGPA was good and I was selected. My project involved, it was an open source project, and it involved a bit of data analytics and REST web API development. So it was majorly on Python. But the most important thing about going to such a research intern at a really early stage, that is your second year summer, is that you get to network with people from other NITs and IITs that come there. So now you know a wider range of people and what happens in their college. They share their experiences with you. You come to know how do these guys actually work, and you actually form that good bond with them. So it's not now restricted just to BNIT Nagpur that you are concerned. So that's really important, because in a senior summer intern, I don't think I was so much capable of actually doing an proper corporate intern. So this research intern was kind of a good opportunity, because they never tested your coding skills as much, because they were expecting you were from a second year undergrad student, so you don't know much. So they treated you like that, and they actually supported you in that way. So it was a great experience.
Yeah. On the whole, it was a great experience. There were a lot of learning for you, and you got to meet a lot of new people from the NITs and IITs from a networking point of perspective. So you enjoyed it a lot, and it was kind of a good opportunity for you to excel in. That's great. So the next question I want to ask you is about describe your experience as a sports secretary of student council at VNIT.
Right. So the student council, as you might be knowing, is the central student body of any college. So in my final year, I got selected for the sports secretary in my student council, and obviously I had interest in sports, and I had been playing basketball for my college for like 4 years. So it was a great opportunity to be there as a sports secretary. So the major responsibilities uh, being a sports secretary is that you are responsible to you act as a communication between the students and the authorities regarding the sports activities. But so what I got to learn from those things is that how can you manage, say, a lot of say, thousand students, because there are college events that take place throughout the year, and there is one event which is held at an inter-department level in our college, which goes on for say 10 days, which is a cultural and a sports event. So there are around 90 to 100 events that take place in a span of 10 days. So that those 10 days were actually say life changing for me in terms of management and how you interact with people, how you work with say people in getting such a event successful. So it was really enjoying. But apart from that, I learned quite a few things regarding management and how to manage your time, how to actually report on time at certain places, and how to take care of a cohort of say 1,000 students or probably more. Those are attending those tests. So it was a wholesome experience, because initially before I joined VNIT, to be honest, I was kind of an introvert, so I didn't really talk to people so much. So that's where I actually learned how can I interact with a lot of people, and public speaking, how important is public speaking, and how important is it to communicate to get your work done. So it was a really important thing that I think I did in those days in my college.
Great, great. And I definitely agree with you. Whatever things you shared, okay. Like such activities or such roles give us like that management experience which is needed for a tech student to have in the industry, okay. Such experiences wherein you are managing a team or you are managing an event, okay. Whatever it may be, it gives you a glimpse of a management experience. And then after that, you also fell in love with coding. Plus, you also fell in love with management, and like this combination of management and technology or coding gives you a wide array of options to choose from in your future career. Like you can go into management, or you can go into kind of like tech, okay. And if you are good at consulting, you can approach companies like Deloitte and stuff like that. So there, so see, like just thinking about coding, like being a tech student won't do. You have to overcome your comfort zone, and you have to gain these skills like public speaking and communication skills, okay. You cannot be an introvert your entire life. You have to kind of like overcome your comfort zone. You have to learn these skills. You have to adapt yourself into it, and like take benefit of it, okay, in whatever opportunities you are looking up to, okay, whatever internships you are doing, okay, learning from it, yeah, and adapting yourself and growing yourself into that state wherein like you can work for an organization and you can use your skills to help somebody, okay. And these skills are kind of gained by you in these extracurricular activities which you are doing, okay. And thanks for sharing that, Chaitya. So the next question I want to ask you is, describe your experience as a secretary for ACM chapter VNIT.
Yeah, so ACM chapter, as you might know, is a coding club in every college. So they have these student clubs in every college, and I got this opportunity to become a secretary in one of those clubs in my college in my third year. So yeah, my responsibilities back then were to organize some coding competitions, to organize guest lectures. So when you start coding in your second year, mostly you do is competitive coding and learn data structures and algorithms. So being on the other side of that competitive coding platform, that is where you actually set problems for others to solve. You organize those uh, competitive coding competitions. Is really a completely new experience, because what you learn while competitive coding is how to solve a problem. But when you are actually setting a question, you need to keep in mind several other aspects. As in, suppose you're giving out a problem, you should know every possible solution to that problem. So that actually opens up your thought process in several other ways, wherein you actually think about what problem is to be set, what are the possible solutions, what is the time complexity and all. So it's basically digging deeper into just one problem in about 2 to 3 days, which is really separately a completely exciting thing to do. And then organizing guest lectures and working with your faculty to handle the coding culture in your college. So that is actually good, a great experience, obviously, because just coding, like learning data structures and algorithms and coding on platforms like HackerEarth or HackerRank is not really sufficient, and you need to actually get a wholesome idea about what actually you're coding and how is it actually important. So that's what I got to learn when I was a secretary at the ACM student chapter.
Great. So you are, in all these experiences, you are like helping the student community at VNIT Nagpur is what I see, and also learning from such experiences, and also like making others learn as well from such initiatives or such being a part of such
Yeah.
chapters. Okay, so that's a great thing. So the next experience I want to talk to you about is describe your experience as a student mentor for VNIT Nagpur.
Yeah, student mentor is a really nice initiative that our college takes. What a student mentor does is that he's assigned, say, a lot of 15 to 20 students, and who are obviously the freshmen, that is the first year undergrads that come to the college. So it is the first time for them as well that they are away from their house. They have come to a completely new city, and they face certain difficulties that obviously we went through when we were in first year. So I was a student mentor, and I was assigned to a group of 20 students who I was supposed to be mentoring. So these students probably have issues because they are away from home, so they feel homesick. And after 1 month, they start settling down in their particular hostels and get used to their life at VNIT. Then these people start having issues with their academics, with their uh, with their grades or with some subjects that they have. So it was my duty initially to guide them through those subjects, to let them know what happens in VNIT, how is life at VNIT, so that they can get accustomed to the environment at VNIT. Apart from that, I even used to mentor them with how should they go about coding, how should they start coding, because some of them actually don't have any prior experience in coding. So how should they start with that? And once they are in second year, how should they approach for internships? How do companies arrive for internships, and how should they prepare for those interviews, etc. So it is really a completely different role that a person plays, because you are responsible for say 20 students who actually know nothing about VNIT when they are first coming into the college, and they look up to you as a really important person because you are the one they are in contact with from the very first day. So since you are being introduced by your faculties, like this person is your mentor for the next 2 years. So that's really an important feeling on the first day that you get, that those 20 students you are connecting with are like going to stay for 2 years. Like officially they say that mentoring is like for 2 years, the third year and final year. But honestly, even today I keep getting messages from my mentees about what doubts they have, and how should they proceed with the interviews, because now they might be sitting for their PPO interviews or their internship interviews. So it's really great that I've connected with 20 such people in quite early days of their college, and I've made some difference in their college life and how they did in their college. So
That's
it was great.
incredible. Yeah, that's incredible, and thanks for sharing that. I think every college should start such an initiative wherein they support the juniors, like the seniors support their juniors in some way. They mentor them. Okay, because I have faced this situation as well. When I was a fresher in engineering, I was pretty much confused. Like I was not staying away from college. My college was close to my house, like kind of 25 minutes to half an hour. But like we feel like whenever we enter a new college or a new workplace, we have such kind of insecurities in us, which lets us become an introvert. Let us become an introvert. So it's what I feel a mentor can help anytime, because that person, that mentor, like in this case, it's you who have experienced those two to three rough years of college, or rough years at like the initial years wherein you are confused, okay, and you got that clarity, okay, and you are helping those students, batch of students, to gaining that clarity and gaining that purpose of what they need to do and assisting them in a way. So this student mentor thing is this college way, NIT Nagpur, it's a really great initiative, and I personally feel like all the colleges should have such a program. And thanks for sharing that. And like we'll go over to the next question. So you told me you were part of Smart India Hackathon for the year 2019 and 2020, software edition. So I want to know about like how was your experience? You discussed your projects, but in all, how was your experience as a two-time winner?
So, participating in a hackathon was like one of my bucket list tasks because we were doing competitive coding since second year. So, we were quite done with that stuff and we wanted to try something new. So, we tried to participating in an hackathon. So, yeah, by participating there, you are even working on a project. So, even if you lose, you don't lose completely. At least you have done some work and learned something from that. So, six of us that we were a team of six. So we participated in SIH just like with the initial with just one idea in mind that we need to develop a project and we just learn something from it. Winning and losing was not in that equation initially. So we chose an idea that we could be able to deliver in such a short span of time. It was a 36-hour of hackathon. So we picked up that idea which I earlier described. That was about the number plate recognition of the car. That involved ML, and we didn't really have a good experience with machine learning back then. So what we did is we did a bit of research work. We saw some open source projects and what sort of libraries we can use. So that's how it started. Our journey of the Smart India Hackathon and back in 2019. So after that, we went to Varanasi, which was the location where the hackathon was taking place. After that, we realized that 36 hours, though it is a very short span of time, but you can actually put in effort and create something incredible in those 36 hours also. So that's where you realize like what abilities you possess. We actually developed that model, the small POC or working model that we were supposed to present. And that's not only about coding that particular model, because coding we have been doing for 3 years. So that's all right. But apart from that, you even need to realize that what you're coding, the solution you are presenting needs to even meet the market standards. It needs to be cheap enough. It shouldn't be very expensive so that no one can buy it or something. And how can it be prevented from any security threats, etc. So it's a completely packaged solution that you need to present to your problem givers. That is your problem setters. That was a Mixorg back then when we were in SIH 2019. So it's really very thoughtful process where you need to think about every aspect of your model. You just can't sit and write code or copy paste code from somewhere and present it. Even though you copy paste code, you need to have that ability to present your idea, to pitch your idea to your problem setters or to the judge, whoever is judging you, so that he's convinced that this product can go into the market and create a difference. So that's really important part of coding, because even if you move to a corporate world right now, or whenever you might be start working in a corporate environment, what they require is not just a coding solution, because what they want is you to design a solution which can actually make a difference for their company, because you are hired to add value to their company and not just to write code that practically any undergrad can also do. So that's what is really important that we learned from participating in hackathons. We went ahead and won that hackathon in 2019. So we decided to go again in 2020 with a separate set of tech stack and a separate problem statement. And unfortunately, 2020 was a year where it was held completely online. So again, that came up with some separate challenges where you need to present your idea online. You need to even show them how stuff is working online, because if the judge is in front of you, it is really easy to convince him. But when it is online, it is really difficult to convince a person. So it's a very different to have an hackathon online and have an hackathon physically, that is offline. So it was different in both the years, and both were incredibly nice because we have actually won both of them. So it was a great experience overall, and I was really happy that I was able to participate in a hackathon in my college days because it gives you an idea about what exactly problem solving is and what you can do in a short span of 36 hours. So that's really great.
Yeah, that's pretty much inspiring, Chaitya. The work you have put in those 36 hours for both the years, like tackling all those challenges, switching from offline to online, but still winning it. But it's pretty much motivating as well. And I feel that the people who are watching your episode up till now would be inspired, would be motivated by this effort you have put in this 36 hours and building a sustainable product out of it. Okay, at least an idea which can help somebody, and that's a very good thing you did. Okay, and thanks for sharing that. So the next question is, describe the placement opportunities at VNIT Nagpur. Tell me about the faculty, and is it a good place to study engineering?
Talking about faculty of computer science department, I found them like they were pretty good. They were student friendly, unlike other faculties that you might have heard of. But overall, their teaching was also good enough. So I don't have any complaints with my faculty at CSE. They were quite good. Now moving to placements, placements at VNIT are not bad because in my batch, I guess it was 100% placement. Everyone got placed, so that is a good place. And we had some great companies coming in like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. So these companies offer a good package for a freshman, like freshmen who are just graduated. So overall, it's not bad at VNIT. The placements aren't awesome, but obviously they're good enough. You obviously won't get crores of package, unlike the topmost IITs, which claim to have such packages. But it is decent enough for a freshman or a graduate. So apart from that, life at VNIT is pretty amazing because hostel life is obviously amazing, the four most amazing years of your life. And having great friends, great faculties, uh, it plays a really important role in anyone's life. So may it be VNIT or any other institute in the tier two or tier one college, what actually is important is the people you're surrounded by. So even if I wasn't in VNIT or some other college, but with the same group of people I had back in VNIT, I think I would pretty much be in the same position I am right now. So it doesn't really matter if you are in an NIT or an IIT. You can choose any NIT among the NITs that are in the country. But what actually makes a difference is how you proceed with your 4 years, what connections you make, what is your network like, how are those friends actually influencing you, and what is the efforts you have put in. So that's really what makes a difference. So overall, I would say VNIT is a great college for engineering. It is a prestigious institute of the nation. But obviously, what made a difference is everyone had a major part to play in the faculty, the administration, my friends, my parents. So it's a wholesome thing that to look up for.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I thanks for sharing that insightful information. It would definitely help out a lot of other students and give them a clarity about VNIT Nagpur. And also the students who are like completing their 12th standard and they're searching for an NIT college or they are aiming for an NIT college, VNIT would be a good fit for them. That's what I feel from your point of perspective. Okay, so here we complete with the part one of the interview, that is your personal experience and extracurricular activities. And we'll go on to the part two, the main part of the interview, wherein I talk to you about your Morgan Stanley experience and the work culture and everything about your experience about Morgan Stanley. I want to know your experience. Okay, so what do you feel and how was your experience, the life at Morgan Stanley? So even I am pretty much excited, and so is the audience. So let's dive into the part two. So this is the end of part one. If you enjoyed watching part one, felt inspired, learned new things, make sure to hit the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more such episodes with people from the industry who are there to inspire you. Giving you an update about part 2, it will be available on our channel by Thursday. So make sure to check that out and keep supporting us like this. Thank you for watching, everyone. And until then, keep learning, keep inspiring, keep growing, and all the very best for your industry career ahead.